You guys, welcome back to another episode of I Pick Passion and Funny. It is your girl, Ika Bates. And if you are new here, go ahead hit that subscribe button. I'm so happy that you're here. If you have been around, if you're OG, you've been here for a while, welcome back. You guys, this episode that I'm doing right now today was actually supposed to have been recorded last week. That didn't happen. No need to get into it, but that didn't happen. So I am bringing that to you this week. Okay. It is a Q&A. I love Q&As, quite frankly, and I have not done a Q&A in quite some time. So this should be fun and it should be interesting. So we will see what comes out of this because you got so many things. Okay, this is not supposed to be last week or the week before last. I did a kind of updates and all the things talking about a few updates and everything on my life and just what's been happening the last month. Anyway, still figuring it out, you guys, still figuring it out. But I am happy to say that I have been on the hunt. I have kind of gotten myself out of the funk that I was kind of in, the grievance. Like I was talking to my mom actually just yesterday and I was kind of letting her know, like, which I had not talked to her and just kind of told her like, Mom, if I'm being completely honest, there was a bit of grievance, like a grief that there was grief that I experienced this month of like leaving behind, my job. Matter of fact, this might all come out in the questions. I'm jumping ahead, you guys. I'm like talking and I'm like, these might even be answers to some of these questions because I have not even looked or reviewed. I don't even know what's going to come out because I have not seen or really, there's a host of questions. There's a bunch of them and I'm just going to pick. So we'll see what comes out of this. So I don't know. I don't know what any of my answers are going to be. I don't know what questions I'm going to use or pick from. So, and excuse me, you guys, I ate some dark chocolate covered almonds. So you have to excuse me. I probably should have. You know what? Let me do this. Let me do this while we're, that might actually cleanse my palate, the residue in my mouth of the almonds. I mean, that might be too much information. I'm sorry. But the leftover almonds just want to stay around in my mouth. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. But you know what? Let me finish because even if I revisit that part, like, okay, I was talking to my mom just yesterday and I was talking about grief. And, I realized that probably within the last 2 weeks, maybe, I kind of started to I realized what I was actually experiencing. And I was like, wait, I think this might be like, then I think I read something and then I wrote about it actually for BuzzFeed, which we're not going to talk about the BuzzFeed because I've always had like as a community, like I wrote about it for like a community post or whatever. But we're not going to talk about BuzzFeed because I have been on the hunt. Again, I said that. Hunt for opportunities. And let's just say we'll see if BuzzFeed is one of them or the opportunity. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. You didn't hear this from me. Okay. But we'll see what happens because BuzzFeed just might be. I've had a login. Apparently, I forgot I had a community like login to BuzzFeed like for some time since like 2017. It's like, what? Really? I don't even remember. I might have applied for some opportunity with BuzzFeed before, and that might have been why I had a login, but I don't remember. Either way, we'll see what happens now. But I did write about this whole experience. And I wrote about this whole time, like it's 13 things that people don't really tell you about, like this journey, like of doing what I did, kind of blowing up your life, like changing careers or like pivoting, the things that people don't tell you, like, and you go through it and you're like, oh man, like I had to experience for myself. And it's been a wild ride this last month, just realizing and recognizing. And this last week I just wrote about it, actually, and it was therapeutic actually for me to write about like what I knew I was experiencing, but to kind of like say it out loud, not really out loud because I was writing it, but to actually put it out there and say, hey, like if you would, maybe these are things that you might experience like that you might not have ever even thought about, but just so you know what you're getting yourself into. Take it from me. You guys, it's wild. Like I literally grieved. Like I never thought I would grieve my past life. Not really past life, but like, well, it is my past life. It's, there's a, you got to get out of it. It's like, I've been in a funk And if I'm honest, I've still been doing, I'm getting up every day, I do things, and I fill my time with, which is very interesting because I'm not used to having to like fill my time with, like, I'm used to having somewhere to be, Monday through Friday, and so I'm like, and then I'm making time or filling the rest of the time with things, which makes sense because I'm used to my schedule being a certain way. Now my schedule is just like open, and I'm like, everything that I was trying to fit in, now I have time to do. And then I'm like, well, what am I going to do with the rest of this time? You know what I mean? Like, my time has just, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. I'm like, I'm happy, and then I'm sad, then I'm frustrated for what it's just random emotions that I can't even account for why these emotions rise, but they do. And it's been very, like I said, the grief is real. It's like a breakup, that all the stages of a breakup. Basically, it was like the stages of a breakup. That's basically exactly what I went through, but with my career my job that I said goodbye to. And if you don't know or didn't know, the last episode I talked about it, and then in BT's episode I also touched on it as well, on BT Kingsley. And then last episode I get a little bit more in depth, and then of course now I'm telling you this about my grief. So anyway, but I have been on the lookout. As I said, I have recently, this last week, picked myself up, and I have began the process of really just getting out of my head and stepping out of my like Erica, you do that. Like, time, sis. Like, it's time. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. But in the meantime, in between time, I got this Q&A for y'all. And so we're gonna get into some questions. Like I said, I cannot promise what's gonna come out of this, but we shall see. Oh, you guys, this is a ask me anything, but make it passionately and secure, because if that has basically been the road that I have been on. It's been an insecure ride. Okay. Anyway, but we keeping it passionate always. Okay. Even in my insecurities, I'm still passionate. All right, you guys. So, okay, first question. I guess we can step into this one. Like I said, I'm going to be picking randomly. It's several, but we just going to be choosing randomly. All right, what's a passion you thought was forever but fizzled? Something I was passionate about that I thought was forever, but it fizzled. For some reason, that word fizzle made me think about Magic School Bus. But anyway, I digress. Okay, what's so funny is that I can't think of anything that I have ever been passionate about that I was no longer passionate. Well, okay, I will say this. Well, no, I'm not going to say that, because I've always been passionate about storytelling in different facets, right? Like, I've been passionate about creative storytelling. I've been passionate about journalism, telling someone else's story, a real life story, which I still do now. That's what I do on this platform. So, it's kind of funny because I'm like, well, wait, like, I feel like whatever I've been passionate about, like, I'm still passionate about. Like, I don't think that my passion has changed in any way. I don't think that there's anything that I've been passionate about that I'm no longer passionate about. If I was passionate about it, I mean, this is how I look at passion. I look at passion that everything that I do in my life, right? There's probably a bit of passion that follows that, because I really am the type of person that I cannot do anything without passion, right? Whether that be a relationship, whether that be a job, whether that be mostly anything that I do, the passion is got to be involved in some way. And if that passion does leave, whether, and I've been passionate about jobs, probably that I've had. I've been not passionate, but there's been passion that I have had in some of my jobs, right? And then at some point that passion just, it wasn't sustainable. It was a job, that I really, to be, was never passionate, quote unquote. And I'm using, air quotes, I was never passionate about, but it had to be some passion in it for me to do it. And so those obviously fizzled, relationships that I've been in, that I had passion, was passion in it, for, yeah. And I am the type of person, I will get bored if there is no passion for me. If the passion goes and there's no passion in it anymore for me, for whatever reasons, right? I don't need to get into logistics, but for any reasons, if there's no passion for me and the boredom creeps in, then it's it's a no-go for me. And that's jobs, it's getting relationships. It has to be constant. The passion has to stay. The flame has to, in other words, stay lit. Okay. If the passion, if the flame is out, then if not immediate, soon after. Shortly, you can bet your bottom dollar Erica's gonna be out. Okay, so yeah, those are the only things I can say that there was passion that fizzled. Otherwise, if there's anything I'm really truly passionate about, helping people, storytelling, those things. So there's nothing I've been really truly passionate about, and it fizzled. And that's how it always calls me back. No matter what else I'm doing, those things always call me back, because I'm like, Erica, that's where you're supposed to be. Grow in that. I've been that girl since I was a little girl. Creative storytelling, like all those forms of those things just give me give me air. Yeah. So yeah, I need it. I need them. So yeah, anyway, so I will say relationships and jobs. Those things, yeah, there was passion I thought was forever, and then it fizzled. That's the answer. Okay. This next one, I don't really know that I can answer. What's the most, I was trying to go in order, but I think I'm going to bouncing around. I told you it's going to be really random. But this next one is, what's the most embarrassing DM you've ever sent? Or you sent? I don't think I've ever sent an embarrassing DM. I'm usually really intentional with my DMs. Like, if I send it, I rethink it before I send it. I'm probably looking into it. Like, I'm probably really thinking about it before I press send. I probably might have rewritten it 2 or 3 times before I press send. So I don't send anything I would say that's embarrassing. Never done that. No. Anything I sent, I stand by. Okay. All right. Would you ever go back to a 9 to 5? Yeah. I'm not too good for going back to a 9 to 5. Let me tell you. Is that where is that my passion? No. Right? But am I too good? No. I'm absolutely not too good to go back. I'm hoping and praying that this sabbatical that I'm on right now doesn't end up resulting in your girl having to go back to a traditional 9 to 5. And that's why I'm trying now to take all the steps. I had to pull myself up. Again, as I talked to you in the beginning about, I had to pull myself up so that I can get myself out of this funk. So I can say, Erica, hey, look, you got a timeline, sis. You're a month in. You got 4 more months to figure this out, to secure a bag that, and right now I still have time to be a little bit like, I still have time to be picky, or selective, I'll say, not picky, but I still have time to try to find, what I really ultimately, what I want to do, or starting the path from which I want to, and make an actual income out of that full time, and the income be what I made or more. You know what I mean? But if it comes down to it, your girl is not too good to go out here, and I used to call it beating the streets. I will go out here door to door. Hey, hi. Yeah, they don't do that too much these days no more. But I know how to go out here, shake a man. Can I speak to the hiring manager, please? I might even be overqualified. I'm probably overqualified for a lot of just jobs, right? But your girl will go out here and find a 9 to 5. She ain't got no problem with doing that. A 9 to 5, a 1 to 9, a 10 to 6. I've done all the shifts in the past years ago. Okay. I've done all the shifts, and I don't have a problem. Never too good to go back, because I got to make a living. And if what I want to do is not making that living for me right now, I am a firm believer in doing what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Okay. And so, no, I'm never too good to go back to a 9 to 5. That's not what I want to do, but I will. You bet your bottom. I will go back to a 9 to 5, but I just don't want that to happen for myself. So that's why I'm trying to do what I got to do now so that I can try to prevent that. Okay. What's your current season teaching you? Well, wow. I think it's teaching me a lot. I think I already kind of talked about a lot in which it is teaching me. I think I've already kind of touched on a lot of that. Man, what is this current season teaching me? Wow. Y'all, this one got me stumped. I don't think I've ever, this is like, I'm not gonna say I've never been this stumped, because I would be lying if I said I've never been this stumped about, because I have definitely been on a question, or been like, what, like misfiring. But I have to say, this has me the most misfired, because I'm like, wait, I don't even know if I can answer this. I really got to take a minute to think about this. What is this current season teaching me? I was saying before I decided to uproot my career, 9 to 5, my job, before I decided to completely throw that away, I was in a season of pivot. I said for a while, actually maybe at the beginning of the year, I was like, I feel like I'm in a season of pivoting, which is funny because I I can see that season did teach me. I was in a season of pivot, and here I am today. So I think before I could even foresee this, hindsight's 2020. I think that before I knew this was coming, I was already in preparation for it. Right. It still caught me off guard, very much still like this is when it, and of course that's why I went through my stages of grief, because it's not what I was prepared to do when I did it. I didn't want to do what I did, but that was totally unexpected. This time was totally unexpected, but I do believe I'm here for a reason. So I think that what it's teaching me is resilience, my strength, how strong I truly am. I think that it is teaching me what I actually can do, that I can do more than what I might not have even believed or knew that I was capable of doing. I think it's teaching me so many things, that you got this. Like, you got this, Erica. Regardless, you got this. Man, it's teaching me so much, y'all. I feel like that I can pick myself up from, I can pick myself up. I can pick myself up from, from grief, which obviously I've known that. I'm talking about this kind of grief but regardless, you got this. You know what I mean? Like, and this is nothing light. I want y'all to understand. This was my bread and butter, my income, what pays my bills, what keeps these lights on, which I don't have running right now. This is natural daylight through my window. But what keeps the lights on in this apartment? What pays my car note? What keeps this roof over my head, puts food in my refrigerator. Like, this is that job. This is that. Okay. What sustains my lifestyle that I like to live. Okay. I enjoy a nice, comfortable lifestyle. This has sustained that. And I am right now, that income is still, as it stands, it's still here. Now I have it until September 30th. But after September 30th, I might get one more check, possibly one more, because I'm thinking they're paying me through September 30th. So I think I'll get that last check. But after that, y'all, there is no more income. So that's why I want you to understand I'm saying I can pick myself back up from this grief, because you got to understand how heavy this weight felt. To give up, what I thought was at least this was my plan until I don't know, until I could sustain my lifestyle with this doing what I'm talking this community that I'm building, doing this until this brand can sustain my lifestyle or something aligned, what I love to do, right? Like, whether I'm in a writer's room somewhere, whether I am, producing, whether I'm behind the camera doing whatever it is that is in media and entertainment, unless that can sustain my lifestyle, that my plan was to be where I was. Because I said, I think in the last episode, that I told myself some time ago, that was going to be my last job. And so I still have that in my mind. I'm like, okay, Erica, you said that was going to be your last job. You really want, so now you gotta, it's just a lot, y'all. It's a lot. Now you got to figure it out so that you can keep your word that this was to be your last job. God didn't bring you this far, to be let down, right? Like, he didn't bring me this far, I know, for me to end up back in, like, I believe that, I hope and I pray, and I am believing that that his plan is my plan, and my plan is his plan, and that this is all on purpose right now, and that everything is aligned in this moment for me to do what I need to do. But if I don't do what I need to do, guess what? I'm going to be doing if I don't do what I want to do, then I'm going to be doing what I need to do. Okay? Because that was my income. Okay. That's what paid my bills. So that weight was heavy. But in this process, I've learned in the season that I can pick myself back up. And I am picking myself back up. I'm choosing every day to pick myself up, because, Erica, you got to do what you got to do. Period. Okay. That's what this season is teaching me. I hope that answered that question, but I hope someone got something from that. Oh, have you ever pursued something out of fear, not passion? The only thing I've ever pursued out of fear and not passion is probably jobs. We keep talking about jobs. This is the theme of today. Jobs. I've gone out here to get a job because I knew I was like, I got to pay these bills. Like, what am I going to do? I can't just, vibes alone is not going to pay my bills. Vibes is not going to do it. This writing gig is not going to pay because, I've always had, I've always been a journalist and done all that, but it's never been a full time. It's always been on the side. And so doing radio and all the things I've ever done, I've always had those were always on the side, part time. I never did those things full time and it sustained my bills, paid my bills. So with that, I have absolutely done things out of fear and not passion. All the jobs that I've ever just had, which have, not just saying they were just little jobs. No, I've had really good jobs, but they were never anything I was passionate about. So I've absolutely done them out of fear that I like a stable, sustainable, I like my lifestyle to feel stable, like to feel like my money is guaranteed. Not only is my money, my income guaranteed, but I like to feel like my benefits, good money, good income, and good benefits. I like to have that secure job security. Okay. I like to know and feel that. And so I've absolutely done those things out of necessity and not passion. 100%. I mean, I can't say that absolutely 100% out of fear and necessity. Okay. Ooh, what does success feel like for you these days? Success for me feels like freedom. Success for me feels like freedom. It feels like doing what I want doing what I want in my own terms. Like it feels like doing what I want the way I want and not having to code switch. That's to me success. When you are at a point where you don't have to code switch, if you do, very little, not often at all. And because we all have someone that relationships that we might have to, hey, look, we all not say we have to answer to somebody, but even, in any career or any journey, whether you work for yourself, there's still someone that at some point you got to answer to for something. Okay. And so sometimes we all there might be a little bit of code switching involved, but for the majority, like to not have to do that and to do what it is that you want. And especially even if you can do what you want, but the way you want, oh my gosh, y'all talking about freedom? Success is freedom to me. That is what success is. It is freedom. Is happiness, because success doesn't always equate happy, right? Because there's plenty of people that we can say are successful, but are they happy? You can have all the money in the world, but are you happy? Are you truly happy? So it doesn't always have to be money either, but it is happiness, it's freedom. Don't get me wrong, the money, we need the money. So I would say that it is happiness. Well, I said that already. I'm sorry. I would say it's happiness, it's freedom. I would say that when it comes to the money, I would say that it is living a comfortable lifestyle. And I think that comfortable is your bills are paid on time, or if you choose to make a payment arrangement, it's because you choose to. It's not because you have to. And sometimes we just like to hold on to that money a little bit longer, and so it feels good just say, like, I'm a strike. You know what? I'm not gonna pay all of it up front. I'm gonna just make that payment arrangement because that's what I want to do, but not that that's what I have to do. So I think that it is making a payment arrangement if you want, but you're not because you have to. That's success. It's being comfortable in your lifestyle. Your bills are paid. You can go out and you can do but it's living a comfortable life. You don't have to have all the money in the world, but you're comfortable. Or I feel like there's a better word than comfortable, because I feel like comfortable just sounds like I'm good. I feel like you're better than just I'm good, but it's not that you are. I don't know, you guys. I feel, but let's just say freedom, happiness, and I'm good. That's it. That's success. That's what it looks like to me. Freedom, happiness, and I'm good. And passion, because I can't leave passion out. Like living a passionate lifestyle, doing what it is that you are passionate about. Purposeful also. Yeah. I hope that answered that question. Okay. Let's see. Wow, I feel like I have an answer to this one, but I'm like, this is really like deep. What's something you used to pretend to love because it made you seem interesting? Wow. Okay. I'll say this. There have been plenty of times because I'm usually pretty upfront about, when it comes to like friends and things like that. I never wanted to or cared about being in the mix. Like I never cared about doing what everybody else was doing because they were doing it like that. If I didn't want to do it, I wasn't. So I won't say that in friend groups I've ever really like pretended to love something that I really, just because it made me seem interesting. I'm usually very just myself. I'm me. I'm always me. I always show up as me. In any situation, right? I'm not a fake person. I don't know how to do that. Even in jobs, I was talking about code switching. Like, I'm not very good at doing that. I am definitely myself and beat it my own drum, right? But I will say, when it comes to relationships, this is kind of in the past, not so much anymore. As I've gotten older and gotten more comfortable with who and like, hey, if you are gonna love me, you are gonna love me for who I am in this moment. I'm gonna be upfront about who I am, what all the things up front, so you know what you're getting into. Because I don't want to set you up for, because I don't want to set you up for disappointment, right? Because you think you're getting this and you're not. Okay. So in the past, I will say I have been in relationships where I have not maybe done things or pretended to be more like, oh yeah, I do this. This is what I do, because I want to, we do stuff like that in the beginning of a relationship. Like, you do all the things to show this person that, yeah, I can do this and I'm this and I'm that. We've all fell victim to that, right? So that we can get that person. And once you get them, eventually the real you starts to come out. Because it's going to at some point. But you're going to get tired of putting up this front. You're going to get tired of putting up that front. And then that person is then going to look at you and be like, well, wait, you used to do X, Y, and Z. Well, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z anymore. That was never, well, why did you do, and then it's this whole, they have this expectation in their mind because this is what you used to do. And they can't get past the point that you used to do this and now you're not anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, we do change, and it's okay if that's something you used to love, for real used to love, and then you 5 years or 10 years in a row, you don't love that anymore. Hey, I used to love that, but I don't anymore, and that's okay. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there were things something that you did not like to do, but you pretended to love to do it to try to get that person, rope them in, because you knew that that's what, but let's just give an example. Cooking, right? I can cook. And I talked about this before. I can cook. I was raised in a household, raised around my great aunts, my grandmother, my mom, my dad. I was raised with people that cook. So cooking is not, I can cook. I can. Can I cook everything? No, I'm not going to sit up here and try to say I can cook everything. Or I have cooked. I'm sure if I put my mind to it and if I tried, I could cook. I believe I can cook everything, right? Have I cooked everything? No, but I can cook a lot. Okay. Knowledgeable in the kitchen? Absolutely. All the things. Do I like to cook? No. Am I the girl that's going to be in the kitchen every day of the week? No. So I don't want a man to feel like that's what he getting into. I want him to know up front that this is what you are signing up for. I'm not the woman that's going to be in the kitchen every day. If you're looking for that, go somewhere else, please. Don't look here. I like a man that can cook, because I don't want a man that can't cook. I like a man that can cook. Not saying that, because I like it to be a shared responsibility. Like, you cook, I cook. I had a long day. We share this responsibility, because I don't like to cook. So it might be more on him sometimes than me. He has to be okay with that. I enjoy cooking every now and again. I'll get inspired to do a new recipe or something. I'm gonna try something, but that ain't gonna be an all the time thing. Don't think that this is gonna happen all the time. So I need him to be okay with that. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry if that is not that is an unpopular opinion. Okay. I'm sorry. But let me tell you, I'm not really sorry, but I'm sorry. The point is, I in the past have been that girl in relationships that kind of make, I cook more in the beginning, all this, so he think he gonna get this whole lot all the time. I'm doing all the things, pulling out all the ropes. And then eventually, like I said, that real me comes out. And then he like, well, what happened? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and then I didn't forgot that oh yeah, you did. I did do all of that in the beginning. Ooh, I'm sorry. Because be yourself. The moral of that story is, just be yourself. Don't pretend to love something for someone else, or for, to make yourself seem interesting or seem like you are that girl. I'm still that girl. I can cook. I don't like to cook like that. That's not my thing. I don't love to be in the kitchen. I don't enjoy it like that. That's not some people love cooking. That's their thing. Brandy Denise and I just talked about that on a previous episode. She enjoys and finds joy from cooking. She loves cooking. And I admire that about her and many others. My dad loves to cook. My mom doesn't love to cook. She can cook. My mom cook her butt off. Why am I filtering? She cook her ass off. Okay. But yeah, she cook her ass off, but she doesn't enjoy it. My mama used to cook so much more before that now it's just like she prefer my dad cooks majority of the time. And that's, and they a lot of times still share the responsibility. My dad does other things better and my mom does some things better. And, they both have their strengths in the kitchen and what they can do better than the other one or whatever. And they share that responsibility. But I don't feel like it should all be on one person. If a man is looking for me to be that one person, he can't cook, don't even come this way if you can't cook. And I'm sorry, I have to be completely honest. If a man cannot cook, this relationship probably won't work. Because either we're going to be eating out all the time, or either I'm going to have to step it up and really like be cooking, and I don't enjoy it like that. You really got to be a special man for that to happen. Really got to be a special man for that to happen, because I am not about to be out here cooking in the kitchen, especially not every day. We might meal prep on Sunday and have meals for the week. One meal, spaghetti, a pot of spaghetti a whole week. We're going to be eating on that spaghetti. I mean, because I'm just not that girl, y'all. I'm just not. I said that to say, just be yourself. Don't pretend to be something that you're not for someone else or for any, like, just to seem interesting. Be yourself. Show up as you. And so now I know that to show up as me. Like, I'm telling you this from the beginning. As a matter of fact, if you listen to this podcast episode, you already know. Erica is not that girl. She's not. She's not the girl that's going to be in the kitchen all the time. She's not. Don't even expect it. Don't even get it out of your head if you're thinking about it. Erase it right now. I'm going to give you a minute. Okay. Anyway, moving along. Ooh, which advice did you give publicly but didn't take privately? At least not right away. Boy, that's probably a lot. Because I can give advice. Let me tell you, I don't often give unsolicited advice. Usually I'm the type that if you come to me for advice, I'll give it. But I'm not going to just volunteer advice. I don't just do that to people. But if you ask me, I can give advice. But have I always taken that advice myself, or at least not right away? Maybe at some point, maybe I did, but maybe I didn't always take that advice right away. Then yeah, no. I have definitely fallen victim to not always taking my own advice, which I think we all have. I think most people have, right? Is that not a thing that people do? Or have that, like, am I wrong about that? Do people often be taking their own advice? I mean, when it comes to relationships, for God's sake, like, I can tell someone else so much easier in the past. And I'm more now I take my own advice. I'm a more evolved woman at this stage in my life. As I've gotten older, my tolerance, the things that I used to tolerate, the things I took more, like, I look back and I'm like, there were phases of my life that I took more, you know what I mean? And I settled for more that I would never settle for. And it's funny because even before that, there were stages in my life that I would have never settled. I have, let me tell y'all, I know this is going around, now I'm on a tangent, but I have definitely, in the beginning, like early 20s, like that, the younger me, after probably my okay, I'm about to get real, I'm not telling all my business, but anyway, not today anyway. I ain't telling all my business. I can't. No, it doesn't. I'm going down a rabbit hole, and it's But the point is, this is not even what this is about. So I'm not telling this. But there was a point in my life where I would have broken up or stopped talking to a guy so much faster for less. Like, I didn't take nothing. At one point I was like, I'm not taking none of that. Like, what? I would kick you to the curb so fast. Like, you be out of here. Then I got a little soft for a little bit. I went through a phase of soft. I settled for more that I'm like, and then I came back again, because some things I'm not going to ever settle for. There's some things I was never compromising or never willing to settle for. But then there were other things that I felt like I was like, oh, well, small, I'll settle for that. Nah. So the point being, I have gotten much older now, and my older age and getting closer to 40, I am realizing that no, absolutely not. I am who I am, and not saying that I am who I am, you got to be careful with, because I'm still changing and I'm still growing, and I am figuring it. I'm still willing, if it's for me, I'm still willing to trying to become a better me every day, right? So I'm not saying that I am who I am, like everything about me is the way it is, if that's the way it is. No, but I'm not willing to change who I am for someone else. if it doesn't fit me. If it's not for me, and if this doesn't work for me, I'm not compromising who I am because for your comfort or because that's what you want me to do. No. So I say all that to say, but I have gotten to the point where I am much older and wiser and less tolerant for bullshit. Okay? That's the point. But in the past, I keep going back to past, present, I would have probably given someone else advice faster, but probably would have in my softer phase. I probably would have taken more. It takes more sometimes, or would have taken more for me to, but I would tell somebody else, oh, girl, and mean it and be for real, because I am one, I was never the yes friend. I'm never, if you don't look for the yes if you come to me, because I'm going to be really honest with you. If you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. But I would tell you if you were right. But I'd be the one to tell you, girl, if you don't. But then I'm over here like, well, you probably should have, but you settling. But you tell this person not to settle. You told her not to settle. But you're settling too. Have you actually looked at your own? Have you held yourself accountable and looked at yourself, girl, in the mirror? Because you're settling too. But you tell her not to settle. So I've definitely been that person that can give great advice, give you the best advice, and from heart to heart, mean it, heartfelt. But I forget about myself in the process. And then I reflect back on what I told that person later. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. But what about you? Practice what you preach. Okay. So anyway, I'm sure we probably all have done that. And I was, for the sake of this example, don't settle. Never settle. I've given advice before, but I have settled before. So that's the public advice that I didn't take privately. Okay, all right. Okay, so now. Oh, if imposter syndrome had a theme song, what would yours be? We are not about to appear singing jingles. Not today. But if my imposter syndrome had a theme song, what would mine be? Oh, God, what would mine be? Let's see. What? Yep. It'll never be you, girl. What you talking about? It'll never be you, girl. What you talking about? No, look at her. She doing it. You can't. No, look at her. She doing it. You can't. What you ever thought about trying to run your own show? What? Look at these chicks. They doing it. Yeah. Look at Quinta. Look at Issa. You'll never be at that level. What you talking about? Girl, you can't do it. No. What you talking about? Girl, you can't do it. No. Okay, anyway. So I guess the theme song would be, I don't know if I was supposed to make up a song or if I was supposed to give a real example of a real song. I'm not sure. But what you talking about, girl? That would be the name of my theme song. What you talking about, girl? You can't do it? No. What you talking about, girl? You can't do it? No. You'll never be Quinta. You'll never be Issa. Yeah. Anyway, so the point is, y'all, this got a lot of this is chaotic. I'm so sorry. Okay, you heard me use it because I would love to run my own show. If I'm completely honest, you guys, I would love to run my own show. A dramedy, you know what I mean? Comedy, a comedy show, a comedy sitcom, or dramedy. Well, dramas. I like drama. I like spice. I like I like some conflict. Conflicts in comedy, but I like conflict. But then I also like it to be funny conflict. So I think a nice dramedy. I definitely don't want nothing senseless. I want it to have some substance, right? But I want to run my own show. That would be a dream come true, right? God, that would be a dream come true. Yeah, but I look at Issa. So, I would use those. I just threw them in there. But look at Issa Rae. And those are Quinta Brunson and Issa Rae are two of my biggest inspirations. They don't even know it. One day I will meet them and I will tell them just what they mean to me. I look at them and I look at their paths and I'm like, man, very different, but actually similar paths. Similar paths, but different paths. And because they both came from the internet. And so, but in different facets, different ways, right? Different, but the same. But anyway, the point is, you get it. I look at them and I look up to them and I'm like, man, and not to say that I can't have, because I can never be them, right? I don't want to be them. I want to be me. But I look at my, my trajectory and I'm like, man, like, could I ever even hold up a torch? Like, could I even hold to what these women have done, you know? And so, but that's that imposter syndrome. Why me? Like, how, like, well, you can't do that. You'll never be that. You know, all those things, those thoughts, those negative thoughts creep into your mind. But if you let them, right? If you let the naysayers or those negative doubts and thoughts, you know, that you could never even come close, which I might not ever come close, but my path is my path. What's for me is for me, right? What's for them is for them. Now I can try to model my career, you know, try to like take some pieces from some of the things that they've done, but I could never be them. Just like they could never be me. They can never tell a story like me. And I mean, probably never be able to tell a story like them. Let's just be honest. But I can tell a story though. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might not ever compare, it might not be an Insecure, it might not be an Abbott Elementary, but it will be my story. So I say all that to say, you guys, yeah, imposter syndrome is real, but you got to kick it. Kick it out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. No, you can't kick it. Can I kick it like Tribe Called Quest? No, you can't kick it. Get out of here. Anyway. I don't know. This is chaotic. I'm so sorry that y'all are tuned into this craziness today. I'm gonna just answer a couple more because I feel like these questions I'm answering, and I might do a part 2 of this because I feel like there's so many more questions on here that are so good that I want to get to. There's a lot of them, and I haven't even gotten to not even a quarter of them. So I feel like this deserves a part 2, maybe a part 3 or part 4. This might be an ongoing, just to get through all these questions. I might break this up in pieces and just, you know, just have some fun and learn about me because it's all about you. You're getting to know me more, which is exciting and both nerve-wracking at the same time. And then I never know what's gonna come out of my mouth sometimes. So that's another thing. So excuse me, guys. Who have you ever cried in a bathroom stall before doing something brave? No. I've never cried. I have felt like my legs were about to fall and collapse. I felt like I was about to collapse to the ground. Like my legs felt like spaghetti, shaky. You know, like the nerves, the anxiety. My hands got clammy. My underarms get wet and moist. But I never cried. Never cried before doing anything brave. But the nerves be nerving. But tears never flow. Tears have never flowed. But that's interesting question. What's the most delusional thing you believed about following your dreams? The most delusional thing that I've ever believed? Wow. I don't know. I was going to say that I can actually do it, but I feel like that's possible. So it's not delusional, right? Like if I want to, I can pursue my dreams. I just have to do it. God already said so. Then what am I? If God said so, then what I got to do my part, right? For God to even bless these opportunities, like I have to do my part. So I'm not going to say that's delusional, but I do believe that there is some delusion to believe in your dreams. And a lot of times I think that your dreams are sometimes closer than what we actually like imagine or what we think. I think we look at this, we almost feel like it's this impossible task, right? But it is possible. But I think there's some delusion that comes in that, though. I think you have to be a little bit delusional to believe in something believe that you can follow your dreams and it's not right. It's not in your, I don't have, I'm holding my hand right now. There's nothing in my hand, right? In my mind, I can imagine that there is something in my hand in my dreams, right? But I don't see them. I'm like, I can see everything that I want in my palm of my hand. But if you look at my hand, I'm holding nothing. So I think it takes a little bit of delusion to believe in something that you don't see, right? I think it takes a little bit of delusion. That's the moral of that example, that analogy I just gave. I don't know. Either way, I think it takes a little bit of delusion to believe in something that we don't see. Because I don't know what these dreams, this path that I'm on right now, I don't know what this looks like. I left my job. That takes delusion. Okay. There's a little bit of delusion in there to actually be like, oh, I can start over and this is going to work out. It's going to work out. Girl, you crazy? You know, I think there's a bit of delusion. I think you have to have that. And I think that's the driving force, though, is the delusion. It's like, girl, you must be out of your mind. But hand clap, applaud to you. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's definitely a bit of delusion in there. That was another, what I wrote about in that BuzzFeed community article that I wrote. That was another, like just last week, just the other day, Thursday, Friday, I wrote about it. But anyway, or Saturday. When did I do that? I don't remember when I wrote about it, but the point is, I think it was Friday. It was Friday. Yeah, that was one of the 13 things that people don't tell you, or that you don't know until you know, and you're like, oh my God. Yeah. It takes a little bit of delusion. It does, to actually make your dreams come true. So, yeah. Yeah, I hope that answered that question. Oh, do you ever romanticize quitting everything and disappearing, or just me? Absolutely. Of course. I mean, I kind of did that, but I didn't disappear. So I'm very much still here. But yeah, absolutely. If I could just live my life and didn't have to go out here and get a job, if I didn't have to like do any, and I could just do what I wanted all the time, the way I wanted, oh, absolutely. But that's just not, it's not real life. But we all want to disappear sometimes. We all get tired of people and we just want to run away from everything. Sometimes you have those moments where you're like, you know what, I just want to run away and I just start over. And we've all been there. I believe that, sometimes you just have your days, your moments where you're like, jobs, things, you just tired and just like, I want to quit it all and just run away, go to an island on a beach, relax with a mocktail, cocktail, whatever your choice is, with prosecco. That's my drink these days of choice, and I just want to sip me on a glass of me prosecco, laying on the beach by the water, hearing the sounds of the ocean and the waves, and looking at the blue, beautiful sky and the water, and just the whole spiritual. Because to me, that is a spiritual awakening or a experience, being near the water. I've talked about that before. And so, yes, if I could just disappear and live doing that alone, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But stay on the beach all the time. I could just stay near the water. I would love to, that's another thing, but I don't know. I would love to get a home on a beach. That I think would be, if I could be oceanfront somehow, like, a beach house or something. Like, God, I would love that. Yeah, I walk out every day with my coffee, and like, just, yeah, if bills weren't real, wouldn't it be a amazing world? But anyway, um, that's not the world we live in, guys. So, yeah, okay, maybe I'll answer. Okay, I'm an hour in right now. Uh, and this will probably not be it won't be an hour once it's edited, but so maybe I'll do a couple more. When was the last time you had to fake confidence? When was the last time you had to fake confidence? All right, I'm gonna be real with y'all. A couple weeks ago, I had my 301 improv showcase. I ended up, if I'm completely honest, at the beginning, it turned out good. And I'm always like jittery beforehand, and I'm always in my head beforehand, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. And then it ends up working out, right? But if I'm honest, at the beginning, I had to fake confidence a little bit because it was a whole different format that we were doing that I was not familiar with, that we had never done before. Entirely different format. Of course, it's a level up from where 101 and 201. It's 301 now. So we're practically pros at this point, and we're doing things in a whole different way. We've learned everything we learned was fundamental, and everything we learned, like, I talked to my instructor, or our instructor, and she's a friend of mine. At this point, we've made a friendship, and I talked to her after, and I was like, I told her, I said, if I'm honest, the very first class that you ever taught us, like, I was trying to figure out where, like, what's the more, like, she was having us do these things and asking us questions and note taking and doing all, it was like, I was like, oh, she's getting deep, and but she's doing, like, where is all this gonna go? The very first class, I was uncertain about her, and I told her that. It's like, I was very uncertain about where this class was, how this class was going to be beneficial, if it was all going to tie in, if everything that you were teaching us was going to eventually click. I was waiting for the clicking moment. I said, class 2, everything clicked. Everything came back full circle. I understood where you were going with your methods. I said, your methods were great. I told her, and not just because we made a friendship. I told her, I said, you were an amazing instructor. Everything you taught, the level of, we of course got into long form, and, really building relationships and characters and edits. Everything that we had, and there's so many more things we talked about, conflicts, self versus self versus society, or person versus self. I said self versus self, which I guess that's still the same thing, but different conflicts that, a person may deal with, and actually acting those out, and just so many, everything she taught us. I say all that to say, everything that we learned, it was all beneficial. Amazing class from start to finish. Everything she ever taught, everything we did, every practice, I mean, God, I opened up and it was challenging in so many ways, but everything that we did has prepared me in so many more ways to tackle long form 401. And we basically did a long form format and we did our own edits. We basically ran our own showcase. And that was my first time experiencing that. And so I was nervous. I was nervous about, wait, what? Like, this is not just yes and games anymore. Like, no, we are really improvisers. This is another level. And I was nervous and I had to fake confidence a little bit. Like, I was like, all right, I'm just ready to get this. Let's just do it, y'all. Let's just do it. Get this, am I really confident about this? No, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know how this showcase is going to turn out right now, but we winging it. I'm just going, hey, at the end of the day is going to end. Okay. So I'm not going to get in my head and get myself all stressed out, which I kind of was in my head before arriving that day. But then once I got there, I was like, all right, we just going to make it happen. I don't want to do too much practicing. We know what we got to do. We know the format. We understand what's happening. We had to do a quick run through when we all got there because one of my teammates, she wasn't there the week before when we kind of discussing the format and everything. So we had to do the run through so she could see what exactly we were doing. But when I tell y'all, the show actually turned out amazing. It was great. So I faked confidence at the beginning, but it turned out for the greater good. It was good. And it was recorded, but she has not sent it to us yet or shared it yet. But my plan is once it is to get permission from everyone, which everyone that except for one person I had already done improv with before. We had already had previous classes together. So I know they're probably good with me posting it, but my plan is to post it on the channel. So you guys will hopefully get to see the entire showcase once it's shared with me. And I do get permission from everybody again, just to say, hey, are you okay with me sharing it on my channel? If they're good with it, it's a go. So you guys will maybe hopefully be able to see it. But anyway, that's the last time I faked confidence. Okay. What's one goal you keep writing down that you're still still scared to go after? Oh my gosh. Shoot. Everything that I'm doing, I'm scared to go after. Like, if I'm honest, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it because by the time when this episode drops, I might I probably won't the same day. I don't know. Either way, I will be announcing this week that there's a series that I am in the process of working on right now. As a series on the channel or on the podcast and the channel that I'm working on. I was inspired to do. Really fun. Y'all, it's for the culture and y'all will be super excited about it. It's definitely, you're going to relate. We all will, you'll know when you know, you'll be like, oh, like it's exciting. It really is. It's really exhilarating and that I was inspired to do it, but I'm nervous. Let's just be honest. I am scared about it because it's like out of my comfort zone, but in a way it is kind of like out of my comfort zone. I'm like, it's just, it's new. It's new and it's scary. So most everything that I'm always afraid to do something new. For me, I'm always afraid. I'm scared about, the path that I'm on right now, but I'm not worried because I know it's going to all work out. But I'd be scared, y'all, about stuff and how it's going to turn out. That's the anxiety in me, right? But I'm going to get myself out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do it. So yeah. But the series you guys will see and when it's announced, you'll know. But yeah. I'd be scared. I'd be scared. Hey, I'm not even gonna front about that. But I make it happen, even though I'd be scared. But at the end of the day, and sometimes I don't do things. Sometimes I sit on things and I procrastinate out of my fear. But I have been trying to do better and get better at that. And that's even me launching this podcast was that. I had this in mind for a long time and I sat on it for a long time out of fear. Baby steps. Do you ever wish you could clock out of growth? No, because I believe when you stop growing, you're dead. I believe you should never stop growing. That's just like you should never stop learning. I believe that the moment that you stop learning or stop growing into a better you or a wiser, older you, I believe that's all a part of wisdom and age and growing and changing and evolving and all the things. And the moment that stops, because I believe growth is amazing to me. I'm excited. I'm excited for growth. I love growth, positive growth. Obviously, I believe that that's the only way for growth is to be positive. But yeah, I love it. And so I feel like if you're not growing, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So, and I believe if you're not growing, then you're doing something wrong. And I believe to not grow is to at your demise. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you stop learning, you're already gone. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the moment that you stop. Otherwise, you should always strive to grow and to learn, because you're never too old to learn. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What does it feel like when your passion starts to feel like pressure? Honestly, I don't know. What does it feel like when your passion starts to feel like pressure? Man, that's pressure. I don't know. Pressure sounds so pressure bust pipes, y'all. I don't really know if your passion should ever feel like pressure. I think that it can be positive pressure though. I think that it's how you okay, let me change what I said at first. Pressure does bust pipes, right? But I think it's how you channel the pressure, right? I think that it can be positive because I think that there's a pressure to do X, Y, and Z so you can pay your bills. That can be pressure. But I think it's how you channel that pressure, right? Because we've all felt pressure at times, to do X, Y, Z, or to make this happen, or to do this at this time. Because if not, then this could be the result or the consequence of not doing that thing. And so I think that, but when you're passionate, I think that you can utilize that pressure. Like, I think that you can utilize the pressure for greater good when it's something you're passionate about. Like, I think it doesn't have to be a negative pressure. It can just be the pressure to be great at this thing or to do this thing for this purpose, because I don't want to go back to a 9-to-5 job. So that's the pressure that I have put on myself to make sure that I do X. I show up every day unapologetically myself, so that I don't want to go back to a regular job. I want to keep doing this. So that's a pressure. I think there is a level of pressure to that, to your passion. Yeah. I don't know. I hope that that's answering the question. I feel like they were talking about I feel like this question is a whole different pressure. Like, I feel like when your passion starts to feel like pressure, I don't know. I feel like we're looking at it but I am choosing to make that can be positive, because I think pressure doesn't have to be negative. Because I feel like when your passion starts to feel like pressure, I feel like it's not productive. I feel like it's not gonna be. I feel like it becomes negative at that point, and then it's like the passion starts to fizzle. If it's too much pressure. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, or you just gotta know when and where and how to apply that pressure, how to delegating to some, some of the responsibility to someone else to help take pressure off of you, or sometimes people don't know don't ask for help, and I feel like sometimes we all need someone sometimes, and sometimes you need to lean on someone and say, hey, can you please do this for me, or can you help take this off of me, so that it's not so much on you. Because I feel like if you're trying to do everything and that load is a lot, I feel like sometimes that weight, then that can become pressure. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think it just all depends on the situation. I don't know. I think it all depends on what's unique to you. I don't think it's one all, But anyway, I think we're gonna end on that question. I feel like I want to end on a different question, but it's a small win you still downplay out loud, but secretly hold close. I don't know. Okay, because that was. Yeah, I think I wanted to answer another question, but I think I'm gonna just go ahead and I want to, because I feel like there's so much more that I want to cover, but these questions are good. They're good. And I'm kind of liking the conversation, but I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, 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 please share. Please leave a review and comment, because it does help the podcast become more discoverable for others to find us. So please share, please comment, leave a review. It's greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you are new here. Subscribe to the channel. We are a growing community, and I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys for being here, for listening, for watching, whatever it is that you're doing. This was a very fun, chaotic Q&A, very insecure Q&A, and stay tuned for what is next. So, again, the announcement, all the things. Stay tuned, y'all, because we got some things coming your way. It should be fun. And until next time, you guys, have a great week, and I will see y'all later.